G'day guys, welcome back to another episode. Well, you can see in the background PDI front mount intercooler from PDI. It's the full kit. It's the extra large core, the 675 by 375, and it's on my GU Patrol. So we'll run through how I got to this point here with a little bit of an informative video. I haven't seen a lot of them out there. So 2014 GU Patrol Series 4. Let's go with the install. Hang around, it's going to be fun. A little bit of teething issues, but we got there in the end, and hope you enjoy it. Alright, so I've already done some prep work here before I started filming. So grill's out, power steering condenser, so I've got the bull bar off. I've already downloaded the instructions, so I knew how to drill out some spot welds and bits and pieces, so you can just follow through the instructions. They're pretty good, just take your time. Got the intercooler off, took the radiator out, give that a good gurney as well because that was filthy. It's got a lot of dirt and stuff in it. It's never been cleaned out, so good opportunity to do that. And I think you'll agree there was a lot of rubbish that came out of that, so well worth doing. And then we got to work on drilling some holes and that, which I'd already knew I had to do, so all painted up black. Cut a little bit off the bonnet latch there, as you can see, and got the 2 holes drilled on the hot side through the guard, because your hot pipe runs through there and into the wheel arch just briefly. Clears the tyre, has no dramas with that, runs up through there and up to your turbo. Now I also have a genuine Nissan bull bar on this thing, so I knew I had to cut a little bit off the bar. About 20 mil off back to those welds, and then just painted them back up, and it was all good. So you probably don't have to do that if you got a different bar, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Then my parcel turned up. PDI front mount intercooler from PDI, and that's all good. Looks bloody amazing. Then realised I had to cut a little bit more off of that bracket there, a little bit off the white bracket, and then you'll find you'll have to bend the power steering condenser pipe there a little bit. Be careful. Bash this little bit over here with a hammer so it fits in, and I think you'll agree that intercooler looks pretty cool. So let's get into the install. Cooler in now. So you will have to cut your elbow. I'm assuming everyone's different depending on how it's lined up inside. But you will have to trim both ends of this to get it onto the intercooler. We've got the cold side hooked up, so I'll show you that. And just another little tip, when you're putting your clamps on, just have a real good think about how you can do them up once you got everything back together again. So the orientation of those hose clamps is pretty important, so have a think about that when you're putting them in. So here you go. Cold side, that's the elbow out of the intercooler. So going ahead, put the silicone joiner on the engine side, on the cold side, and just gone ahead, put the 2 bungs in the tube here for the boost and the map sensor. So bear in mind, I had some issues with these threads not threading. I had a tap and die set in the shed, so I just run a tap through there, clean that thread out, sealed them up with some silicone sealant and screwed them in. So we'll move on to the next bit. Just doing right now is lifting this condenser up. I've just undone the bracket and lifted it up probably 15 mil, maybe 20 mil, and that's given me some good clearance on that intake pipe there. Under the condenser, in beside the battery, under the power steering reservoir, got the 2 boost outlets there, all hooked up, all cleared, all the pipes, no rubbing on the bodywork, Little bit of mucking around to get it in there, but you'll get it. So I found also, if you just undo the top intercooler brackets, you can sort of tilt that out a little bit. That'll give you room to get your big elbow in there first, and then put your other pipe inside there and then slip it in. Seemed to work pretty well. So there you go. That's cold side done. Now we'll move over to the hot side for the turbo. Right, this hot side is extremely hard to get in. I undone the bottom intercooler bracket here, undone those two top bolts and kind of pulled the intercooler out. And you've got to work with that pipe in through the holes first, so it comes out here. So it comes out here, and put that silicone joiner on that side first, and then you kind of just slip them all together and then push it back in. And then I'm just going to work my way up to the turbo. Give you a bit of a look here. So we're on top of the turbo. I've got that all joined up there. Pipe runs down, pretty much follows the chassis, whether you can see it through there. Runs down there. And then in through the hole. We're plumbed up. Hot and cold side, all hooked up, clamps done up. And you will notice here, I've taken the power steering condenser off. And then I've got to reroute those pipes in through here. So you do get, in your kit, you do get a length of replacement pipe. So I'll be cutting them to size, and then we'll just relocate it. Alright, quick recap here. It's the next day. As you can see, I've got this bracket on here. Now, I originally thought I was going to have to adjust this bracket, but I wasn't happy with the way it was sitting. So I've taken the brackets that I made off and put the original ones back on. Put this bracket back against the body so it's touching, so I don't have to put a spacer behind there. And I've still got a good amount of clearance up around the back there on the passenger side, and I'm still clearing the condenser pipe on the other side here. So I'm going to leave it like that. So I'm going to say the original brackets do fit. I just must have had it sitting funny or something, but they do work. So I've taken my ones out, using the original ones where they're supposed to go, and I'm going to go ahead now, extend the condenser pipes, and then I'm going to work out how to put that on, and that's just about done. So yesterday we got all the pipe work done, both sides all tightened up, ready to go. It's sitting in there, it's solid as a rock, and couldn't be happier with it. So we'll go through now, work out this condenser bit. The black hose that comes with the kit, 10mm power steering hose. There's no instructions really, so I've just cut that in half, and then we're going to go ahead, replace the original ones that are in it. So take these two out. There's a little rubber grommet in under there, not sure whether you can pick it up. Yep, they're in there. There's the two new hoses and the rubber grommet. I just pulled that whole thing out and just put the two new pipes in there. Comes with hose clamps in the kit. Reattach that. I just undone that bracket so it's easy to move. Little 10mm bolt there, and get that hooked up, and then we'll work out this bracket. It's that little hole. I've just drilled a little hole in there so I can put my indicator wires back and my horn wire back. So I gotta get that grommet back through the hole. As a little tip, 36 mil hole saw, and that grommet should fit in there nicely. Made up a bracket for the map sensor or the boost sensor. So as you can see, just a little angle bracket bolted on there. That's nice and secure now, so it doesn't flop around. So nothing comes in the kit for that. So just be prepared, you'll have to make something up with that. And just run all my boost lines down to the bungs down there. Cooler install done to an extent where it's in the front, so when I put the bull bar and everything back on, I don't have to get in there and do anything else. It's all plumbed up, ready to go. Looks bloody awesome. Now I just got to get everything back in. Got to get the radiator, got to get some power steering fluid in there, coolant in there, and then we can fire this thing up. So exciting times, pretty happy with that. Okay, so there's nothing in the instructions about where to put that power steering cooler. The location I had it was too low, it was clashing with the bull bar, so I was going to take the bar off here and lift that power steering cooler up around about 65 mil. So we're just going to go ahead, take that bar off and just have a good look at it. Small teething issue, I think we can sort it out pretty quickly. Condenser pipe clashing with the mount on the bull bar. So we'll cut this one off, move it up, and then change the bracket down the other side here. We'll bend and change that, and we'll get that up a bit higher. It's only got to go up 20 mil, and that'll clear that. And then hopefully we should be pretty right. So we'll go ahead and do that. Got these brackets moved. So we're currently lifted them up 65 mil. So there's the original bolt there. So we're up 65 mil. Pretty much use that one there. Didn't have to change that. Just welded a angle bracket on the bottom of that one. Changed the angle of it. And this one here, just a little bit of flat plate. Re-welded the lug on the end. And hole saw and just used the rubber and the washer out of that there. So there we are, we're back in action. You will have to make the brackets up for the condenser. There's no way around it. So there we go, I'll whack the bar back on and then we'll see if there's any more clearance issues. We are good. So I've put a little bit of rubber tubing around this part here. It's clear of it, it's not actually touching it. So that's up high enough. Center bracket works good. And the end bracket's clearing nicely. So we'll get this bull bar bolted back on and in place and put the grill back on. So there you go guys, we've done it. We've got the intercooler in the car, all hidden in behind the grille, and looks absolutely smick. Just looks like stock. You wouldn't even know there's a massive intercooler in the front of that thing. Bit of mucking around to get it in there. I'm sure you'll agree that it's not a completely easy job, but if you go on front mount, you know exactly what you're in for. You're in for a task in getting that done. So we just had a few initial issues with those bottom brackets that I thought were wrong, but they're not. Everything works well. Just need to cut a bit more out of that top section of the bonnet latch, and it all seemed to work pretty well. The only other issue was that power steering condenser, which you can weld, or know a mate that can weld, then he's going to be helpful for you, because he's going to be able to help you out with those front brackets. But other than that, everything in the kit fitted. I can certainly tell those EGTs are down a lot lower. Back to the tuner for him to have another look at it, but other than that, I think we're ready to go, and we'll test it out over the next couple of weeks and see how it goes. So hope you enjoyed that one, a bit of an informative one, and like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. So it's about a week and a half after I've installed the intercooler in here, and since then it's been back to the tuner, and the numbers that I've got back are quite astounding. So just to give you some context to this thing has been remapped, new injectors, a new clutch, and everything before I went to Cape York, August 23. A little bit of a snorkel mod through the guard to make that all seal up, so it's all perfectly sealed. You can dunk that thing in the water and it's perfectly sealed from any water getting into the engine. So other than that, it got tuned and on the dyno. Yeah, we came in at 50 kilowatts and 128. That was the original numbers, and then after we had the tune done with the new injectors and the remap, we ended up with 90 and 315 Newton meters. That's just with the top mount intercooler. Done the Cape York and back, which is our biggest trip we've done. It averaged 16 litres to the 100, which was pretty phenomenal really, considering all the four-wheel driving, the low range four-wheel driving we were doing. And I was pretty pleased with that. I want to chase more fuel economy and try and get that engine as cool as possible. So that's the reason why we went the biggest front mount intercooler I could get for this thing. And it went back to the tuner, and we come back with, just from changing the intercooler, 115 kilowatts, 381 Newton meters of torque. So there's a massive gain from just installing the front mount intercooler. So my EGT, now they sit around 250 to 240 degrees at 100, the same speed, which is phenomenal. It's, I can't tell you how much of a difference it's made to the car just by doing that that change. So if you're looking at it and you want to get those EGTs down, look into a front mount intercooler and you'll notice a difference straight away as to how the fuel economy goes. But I think you'll agree with those lower temperatures and those intercooler air temperatures running into the car will be a hell of a lot cooler. So it's got to be good for a diesel engine. So there you go guys, there's a little bit of an insight into why we put that in there. So there you go, thanks for watching.